guys, how we doing? It's Tuesday. It is Technique Tuesday, and today's project is one that has been requested. Well, wasn't technically requested. It was like I offered it up and you guys said yeah. So it's kind of a roundabout requested project, I suppose. I don't know. We've been working on pearls, and so I asked you guys last week if you, hi Anita, hi Katie. I asked you guys last week if you wanted to know how to start and stop a hand knotted piece, whether it is a bracelet or a necklace, and you guys were all about that, which I'm kind of glad that you said yes to that, because there is a technique involved with this. So I'm more than happy to show this to you guys. So that's what's on the table for today. Yeah. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Guys, I'll be completely honest with you. I am down in the dumps today. I'm having a down day. I've got Marge Simpson hair. I hate wearing my hair up in lives because it's just like, whoa, there's my face. I'm so just not feeling that today. But you know what? Everybody has those days. Everybody has those days. And I am definitely not immune. So today I'm having a down day. But that's all right. That's all right. Because I get to come and spend my day with you guys. That always cheers me up. I'm always happy to get to hang out with you guys and share some information with you guys. There's not anything seriously wrong. Every time I'm like, oh, I don't feel great today, people are like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? There's not anything wrong, you guys. I'm just bleh. You ever just have those days where you're just like, I'm feeling that. That's my mood today. That's the whole mood is so. Oh, but it is so good to see your faces. Oh, Katie says my hair looks good. Thank you. I feel like Marge Simpson. I feel like it is really, really tall. I don't do a lot of updos because when I was on that network, you know, where I did that show, they quite often told me not to do my hair up because it makes my, gosh, we're just getting way off topic today, but that's all right. It makes my neck and my shoulders look broad. In essence, what they were saying is it makes you look fat, so don't wear your hair up. So I never wear my hair up because I feel like, oh, there's my huge face, and then you can just see that I'm a big fat fatty, which I'm really not. I'm just having one of those days. I'm telling you, I'm just having one of those days, you know? So, yeah, it's all good. All good. I'm glad my laugh cheers you up. Because I need some cheering up too, and being with you guys cheers me up. So, oh, Terry says, yeah, she's had about a month of that. You know, I think it's just, my friend Kathleen, she gets the blues in February, you know, and I think that's just what it is. I think I'm just kind of down in the dumps. I have like the wintertime icks, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Right, Katie? Exactly. Exactly. That's not the only thing I was told. If I want to get like really super personal with all of this, I was also told that I needed to sex myself up. Right? I'm selling to women. I don't think women want to see my cleavage, but I was most definitely told that I needed to sex my wardrobe up. That's why I do here. And I pray that one day another network will come along and offer me a job and not tell me that I need to sex things up and that I'm a big fat cow. Right? Okay. Oh, I've shared so much personal information today. My goodness. Yes, it's the midwinter blah. It really is. It is. Weather, COVID, all of the just yuck. You know, I'm just over it. All right. So let's talk about this project today, shall we? Let's talk about it. So pearl knotting, which we did last week. We're going to do some more of that today, but I'm going to show you guys something that is really, really, do they tell men that? I don't think they do. I'm guessing they don't. Me too. Me too. Right? So anyway, oddly enough, a woman is who told me that. Anyway, So, me too, Katie. Me too. Okay, so getting away from that. Sorry. Anyway, so today's project, we're going to start and stop a bracelet. Okay, we're doing a bracelet because it's just a little short amount of work to do. But the technique is going to be the same whether you're doing a bracelet or you're doing a necklace, right? I know, right? Nancy says, excuse me, how rude. That's my thoughts as well. Oh, gosh. So here's the thing, okay? I was asked last week about pearl reaming and just bead reaming in general. And I haven't really included that in a project because I feel like there's a lot of information out there for it and it does add length to a project. So I'm going to leave that part out. Right? I'm going to leave that part out of the project, but I'm going to mention it because it is important for this project. Okay. So just because we're not actually doing it doesn't mean that I don't think that it's necessary, because it absolutely is. Okay. So thank you, Nicole. All right. Enough of this nonsense, right? Let's get down to it because I'm excited to show this to you guys. I think you guys are going to really appreciate learning this, okay? Because, hold on, but there's more. This is going to work not just for pearls. I do want to say that. This is going to work not just for pearls, but it's also going to work for your gemstone beads and your glass beads as well. I definitely do not recommend bead reaming glass beads unless you know that they are strong enough to take it. But when it comes to glass beads, a lot of times they don't need any extra bead reaming. But now your pearls and your gemstones, definitely you're going to need to do that with this project, okay? So let's get to it. All right. Okay, so let me adjust the lights. I'm like trying to get everything brightened up. Gosh, can you guys send me some of that snow? I know I'm like, oh, I have the winter blues, but you know, I think I have the winter blues because I'm not getting any good winter weather. Like we got a little bit of snow, but it just turned into this ice and it had like this whole layer of just muddy gross underneath it. It was just not fun. Okay, so for the project, okay, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need some wire guardians. Guys, these are really, really important. If you don't have wire guardians and you have French bullion, bullion, if you have French wire, instead, that will work. So what is French wire? Well, French wire is what we had before we had wire guardians. And the French wire is actually what is considered the most traditional, obviously, because it's been around forever. French wire is just like this. It's just these little tiny, it's about a 1/2 inch section, maybe a little bit shorter, of coiled, usually the tiniest coil ever of sterling silver wire. Sometimes it's not sterling silver, but most of the time you're going to get it. It's going to be sterling silver wire. It comes in a length and you have to pre-cut your lengths. Okay. So when wire guardians became available, it really kind of helped us to not have to worry with all of that cutting. The French wire is going to work exactly the same way, but because these are more accessible, this is what we're going to be using. Okay. So you're going to need 2 wire guardians. You're also going to need clasp. I'm using a clasp it's called Upper Clasp. It's just a little collection in Beadalon where the clasps, you can buy some decorative clasps. And that's what this is. This came from Beadalon. It is, it's one of those where, I don't even know what you call these guys, but you pinch it and it slides, right? Yeah, Christine says the ends of her really good pearl necklaces have French wires. Yeah, because that's the traditional thing to use. All right, so any clasp that you want to use is fine. I do like to use a clasp that is a bit more decorative when I'm doing a pearl project, just because it's already going to be fancy. But I mean, if you just want to use a regular clasp, then totally go for it. All right, guys, hold on just a second. Like, I have this whole layer of dust where I was reaming pearls yesterday and it is all over the top of my iPad. So I'm just kind of wiping off the screen. Give me just a second. I'm so sorry. Having trouble, a box clasp, yes. Having trouble seeing the comments going by because it's so dusty. Okay, so a Clasp Wire Guardians. I'm not using any hardware because I'm gonna connect my Clasp directly to my Wire Guardian. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but just so you know. Okay, now you're also gonna need some Hypo Cement. Okay, so sit this to the side. Hypo Cement is definitely the one that I recommend the most out of all the glues for this kind of project. Okay, and let's see. The next thing you're going to need is some silk cord. Now, last week I carried on and on about the number 8 silk cord and how I thought it was better than the 6. And the reason that I think it's better than the 6 is because it works better with glass beads that have a larger hole than a pearl. And some of my pearls even do better with the size 8. But for today, we're going to be using the size 6 because I do need to get this through some of the pearls twice. So I am going down to the size 6, which is convenient for you guys because this is going to be the most accessible in your box stores. You can buy any size that you want and any color that you want from the Beadalon website. But if you're just going to go to like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or wherever to get your cord, you're probably going to find size 6 and size 4 the most prevalent. Okay. Angela says, how do you decide what color of thread to use? Well, honestly, for today's project, I picked this color, this kind of really light peachy pink color, because this is all I had in size 6. So this was not necessarily a design choice. It's just that most of the silk cord that I have is in size 8. And this was one of the very few size 6s that I had that was already open, and I didn't want to open a new pack. So you can pick whatever color you want to. I think it's going to look really pretty with these pearls. But most of the silk cord colors that you get are going to be, you know, they're going to work really well with pearls. There are some bright colors. There's some red and some purple and things like that. And those are going to look great with your gemstones. But with pearls, I try to keep it neutral. So I go with like the whites, the creams, the peachies, and the grays, and like the natural tan colors when I can. But it's really up to you. If you want that cord to really pop between your pearls, then go with red. Go with bright purple, right? Okay, so that's what we're going to need. And then we're also going to need our knotter tool, of course. Okay. And then last but not least is going to be our pearls. Now you're going to notice I have 2 sections of pearls here, and this is really important. This is where that whole bead reaming conversation comes into play. So I have 6 pearls here that I have separated from the group because I need 3 pearls to start and 3 pearls to finish. And I need these pearls to be reamed with the bead reamer so that I can get the silk cord through them twice. If you get these just straight from a hank or straight from a card or however it is that you buy your pearls, okay, you're probably going to be okay to get a single strand or stringle. What's a stringle? A single thread through them as is. But if you need to go through them twice, you're going to have to ream them with a pearl reamer. Okay. So I'm not going to do that, but I will talk you through it just a little bit. There is plenty of information out there about pearl reaming, so I don't want to take up a lot of time with our project for it. But I use the battery operated bead reamer from Beadalon. Has the interchangeable tip. This is also the same tool that I use with the wire rounder tip. So you can change this out. You can change it out as a bead reamer or a wire rounder tip, right? You just have to buy the wire rounder tip separate, but your actual tool comes with the bead reamers, with the bead reamer tip, okay? And it takes a battery. You just push the button and it makes it spin really, really fast, right? And that's what you use to ream your pearls. Now, I'm going to show you, right, not in water, which is why I have pearl dust all over everything, right? And that's what you would do. You put it down inside the hole of the pearl and you ream it out. This is going to ream out any of the little snags or, you know, sharp edges on the inside of the pearl that could possibly cut through your cord. But it's also going to help you to make that hole a little bit bigger, because when pearls and gemstones are drilled, they are often drilled with a very, very fine drill. And we need to be able to go through ours twice. So that's when you're going to use your reamer. The bead reamer, you actually do this underwater. So you would take your 6 pearls, you would get yourself a little bowl of water, and you would hold them under the water, and the bead reamer tip, not the entire tool, but just the tip under the water to ream out the holes, okay? So if you need step-by-step instructions for that, all you got to do is just punch it in over on YouTube. it just takes a while. That's why I kind of edited that out of today's project. But just know that 6 of my pearls have been reamed extra, right? These, and I've double checked them. I've made sure that I can get through them twice with my silk thread. So don't get started with this until you double check the holes on your pearls. Yes, you're going to ruin your tip not using water. Absolutely 110%. That's why I say don't do it out of the water like I just showed you. It is really not good for it. Plus, it helps to keep things tidy because the water is going to catch all of the pearl dust. Or even if it's not pearls and it's just gemstones, you still should do them underwater. And something else that happens is, depending on your bead, it will heat up in your hands. So if you've got to do a lot of reaming, you definitely want to hold this underwater. It's going to keep it nice and cool, because if you don't, your bead will heat up and you can actually burn your fingers depending on what the material is. So just keep that in mind, okay, when it comes to reaming. But we skipped all that for today. Okay, so I have my other pearls for my bracelet. They're sitting separately so that I don't get them mixed up with these guys, okay? And we've got our silk on our card. I'm going to go ahead and just take this off of the card and stretch it out just a little bit. I don't wet it or any of that stuff. I know that a lot of you guys ask about that and asked about it last week. You can wet this and stretch it and get all of the kinks out of it if you want to, but I'm just going to stretch it out with my hands. Okay. Yeah, you definitely can crack a bead too. The water helps with all of that stuff. You definitely do it underwater. I was just showing you. All right. So we've got our needle attached to our piece here, guys, and our needle is really important. You can see, can you see that kink in my needle where I had been practicing to make sure that my beads would fit on there twice? See how it has that horrible little place on it? I'm gonna cut that off. Now, I don't recommend doing that over and over again because your needle will end up being too short to use, but if you've got a little place on the end, go ahead and cut it off, right? When it comes straight off the card, you usually don't have any problems like that. But okay, so to get started, what we want to do is we want to come down to the end of our silk cord, okay? And just somewhere near the end, it doesn't have to be right at the end, but you want to tie a knot. It doesn't matter what kind of knot, surgeon's knot, overhanded knot, makes no difference. Just tie a knot just so that we don't lose our pearls, okay? That's the only reason, is just to make sure that we don't lose anything, okay? So I just tied an overhanded knot. It's not the prettiest knot in the world, but that's okay. We don't care. Okay, now this is where it's weird. This is why this is a technique, okay? The first thing you want to do is pick up 3 of the pearls that you have reamed out really well and know that are going to accommodate your cord twice, okay? So pick up 3. Okay. Now you want to pull these down close to your knot, not right up against your knot, okay? You want to give yourself plenty of room here because you're going to have to be doing some other stuff. So I like to keep mine about, I don't know, 1 inch, 2 inches, whatever feels comfortable away from the knot. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, and this is going to seem weird, we're going to go ahead and thread on our clasp, right? Weird. We've only put 3 pearls on and now we're putting on our clasp. What is this nonsense you speak of? Well, you're just going to have to trust me. Okay. So I hooked my wire guardian to my clasp, right? I am going to thread my silk through the wire guardian. Whoops. Oh, and my wire guardian might be too small. I may have to grab another one. No, I got it. Okay. Thread back through the wire guardian. Okay. Right, so now we're attached to our clasp. I want to pull all of this all the way down, okay? So I'm going to kind of hold it in my fingers and pull my silk cord until I pull this all the way down here to where my pearls are. Don't get rope burn. Don't hold on to it too tight as you're pulling because you will get rope burn. Right on the tips of your fingers. That's not always fun. All right, so I'm pretty close, right? I'm pretty close to my pearls, Okay. Now, I want to take my needle. Okay. And I want to go back through this pearl that's right next to our clasp. Okay. So I'm going to thread it through and pull. I know this seems weird, but it's going to make a whole lot more sense here in just a few minutes, I promise, okay? So I'm just pulling out the slack. So if you're not using an entire huge long piece of your silk, you won't have to pull nearly as much. All right, now I am going to kind of pinch together my wire guardian just a little bit, okay? But I want that wire guardian to sit right up against that pearl, and it's not going to wiggle a whole lot, so I don't have to worry that it's going to scratch my pearl up or anything like that, okay? There. Now, we've got our wire guardian, our clasp, and a pearl, and you're still going, I don't understand. We only have 3 pearls. It's okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our 2 strands, and we're going to tie an overhanded knot, okay? So our first 2 knots are actually fake knots. They're not real knots. So I've just taken the 2 strands, tie them together, and pull that knot right up against the pearl. Okay. Now lay it flat so you guys can kind of see what on earth we're doing. Okay. You can, Joan says you don't knot right below the wire guard. You can if you want to. I never do. It's really up to you. It wouldn't be alive if something didn't seem weird, right? Okay, now we're going to take our needle and we're going to go through the next pearl. Okay, I'm actually going to switch hands here. Okay, so take your needle and go back through the next pearl. Pull out the slack. Okay. Push that pearl up against the knot that we created. That was an overhanded knot. Okay. There are 2 pearls. Okay. Now we're going to do that one more time. Okay. So we're going to take the wire guardian replaces the clamshell. Not necessarily. In fact, Pam, I'm actually going to show you the clamshell technique on Thursday. Yes, you can use a clamshell, but this is really more the traditional sense. The wire guardian, when I say traditional, I mean with the French wire. The wire guardian is just acting as the French wire. Yes, you can use a clamshell, but the clamshells are not nearly as sturdy as this technique. But yeah, so I guess you're right. You're right. I mean, I'm not trying to like argue with you by any means. Yes. Yes, you are correct. Okay, actually, you know what? I forgot to tie a knot. Let's take that needle back out. Okay, sorry, you guys. We want to tie another overhanded knot, okay? Sorry, I got to talking and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So take your 2 strands, tie an overhanded knot. Pull that down right up against your pearl. Okay, now take that needle and go through your last pearl here. Okay, so wiggle your needle through that pearl. And you can see why that extra space between our knot and our pearls is important. It just gives you a little extra room to wiggle with, and enough to, you know, tie your knots with. So get that needle back through there. I feel like my needle is getting a little bent. Okay, now pull. Okay. Wiggle, wiggle. Yes, yes. Wiggle that needle. All right. So now what we have is the beginnings of our bracelet. We've got knots in between our pearls, right? We're attached directly to our clasp. There's no extra hardware. And what I want to do now is I want to come in with my Hypo Cement. Okay. Ooh, that's a messy tip. Let's see. Grab a Kleenex here. clean this up. So what I want to do now is I want to double insure these knots with the tiniest little drop of Hypo Cement. And if you get it on your pearls, wipe it off before, you know, before it dries. You just want a teeny beanie, a teeny beanie drop of the Hypo Cement. Okay. That's all you need. Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy with your glue. Okay. Now, this little short end, right? I'm going to cut that off. I don't need it. Don't cut off your working thread. That's your long piece, right? But go ahead and cut off that little short thread that we used. Okay. Now we're ready to start. Now we're ready to actually make the length of our bracelet. So what we're going to do is we're going to thread on some of our pearls. Now these 3 are for the end. Sit them to the side. Don't use those. Use the other ones that you know your thread only goes through once, right? Okay. Straighten out your needle. What was the question? Let's see. How in the world did you get the lid back on? I have a really good light. That's all I can say. All right, so I'm going to thread on some pearls here. I'm not going to, I don't want to thread on the entire length of the bracelet because I want to remember that I've got to add 3 more pearls at the end. So I'm going to thread on just a few. I'm going to take the ruler and double check everything before we actually start knotting. So bracelets don't take a lot of pearls to make. All right, so if I bring this down, I know I have to get, there has to be a little extra room for my, my knots, but it's going to be pretty close. Okay, so we're just figuring out at this point how many pearls we need. We're not really, you know, we're not knotting yet. We're just threading our pearls on and kind of judging how many it's going to take to make a full bracelet. Okay. And remember, you've still got 3 to go at the end. And you can always lay those down here, which we will do here in just a second. So just going to take a look. So I want my last 3 to go there. So I need to kind of like fill in this space here. And I got exactly 5 more pearls. So I'm going to add my 5 and then keep my other 3 away from everything. And then we're going to knot all of this. Okay. I like being able to do my pearls ahead of time, threading them all on first. It really saves time. Let's see, there's a question. So this is silk cord. Is there another name? Not that I know of. I know that you can knot with whatever you want to. But as far as like the silk cord on a card, it's all going to be silk cord on a card. You know, it's kind of that was kind of a lame answer, but it's true. Okay, so we've got all of our pearls. Now I'm going to back them away from where we've already started so that we can get to work on the knotting part of this. Okay. So if you guys will remember from last week, we did a lot of the knotting, but it never hurts to see this again. So we've got a row of pearls here to do. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Same techniques as last week. Notice where the cord is coming. It's underneath my fingers. Okay. Griffin silk. Yes. Thank you. Just having a no-brain moment there. Yes, Griffin silk. Okay, so it's underneath my 2 fingers, okay? I'm going to wrap it around my 2 fingers, taking my ends, drop them through the loop that I created. Now, remember from last week, the hook on our needle is going this direction, so that's the direction we want to hook our cord. I put my finger on here just to keep my cord from slipping off. Some people don't. That's okay. Okay. I'm going to let go and pull. Pull that knot right up next to the pearl. Put the thread into the yoke and then push the tool up to make my knot. Now, you would never know that those first 2 knots were overhanded knots, right? You don't know the difference unless you're right up close to them. You don't know. You don't know what I got. All right. So next pearl coming down. Okay. Same thing, taking the silk cord, making a loop around my fingers, taking the working, all of the stuff I've already done, dropping it into the loop, taking my tool, hooking, pushing down, pulling the knot, okay, goes into the yoke and up. That makes our knot. So we're just going to keep going. Yes, had a brain fart. Indeed. All right. So 2 fingers, going around the 2 fingers to make my little lasso, dropping all those pearls down. Okay. Hook of my tool, hook the cord, fingers, let go, pull. Okay. Into the yoke, push the tool up. And you can see how beautifully and how easy that is. I mean, there's just nothing like it. I'm such a fan. And it does not have to be pearls. Okay, 2 fingers, wrapping around to make my lasso, dropping all of the beads into the loop. Grab, finger, pull. Cord goes into the yoke and push up, and you've got a knot. Okay, so we're just going to keep going until we get all of them except for our last 3. Okay, around, loop, drop everything down. Okay, our tool, hook the thread. This is important, okay? And I know I'm kind of zipping through it this time because we talked about this in depth last week, but it is really important the direction that you hook your thread. So go with the bend in the needle, okay? If you don't, it's still going to work, but you're really going to be fighting against the cord to pull that knot. It'll still make a knot, but why make it harder than it needs to be, right? If you do exactly like I'm showing you, you're not going to fight with that cord at all. So we're dropping another pearl down, wrapping around the fingers to make a loop. Drop all the beads down in that. The little knot kind of comes over here to the side of your index finger. Hook the cord, finger on, pull. Okay. Pull tight. Your cord goes into the yoke and push up. And you're going to get a perfect knot every single time. Okay. If you follow the steps like I show you, you're going to get a perfect knot every time. If you don't, you're going to get frustrated. You're still going to get knots, but you're going to fight with the tool. And it is meant to make life easier, not to make things harder. Okay. So if you're struggling with it and it's hard, you need to kind of relook at the way that you're positioning everything. Okay. Because this is supposed to make life easy. And it does. It really does. Okay. Dropping another one down. Loop around my fingers. Drop all the beads down. Okay. Tool. Hook, hold my finger over it. You don't have to hold your finger if you don't want to, but the thread is kind of slippery, so I keep my finger on it just in case I get a little crazy when I'm pulling the knot up. I don't want it to slip off of the tool, okay? All right, loop around, drop the beads down, hook, finger, pull into the yoke and deliver the knot. And we're going really fast, like we're almost done. Do you ever stab your finger with the knotter? More times than I can count. I have bled onto more silk cord than any one person should ever. Yes, I have. Indeed, I have. Loop around, drop the beads. Okay, hook, finger, pull. and you got to pull tight. I'm not pulling so tight that I'm like hurting myself, but I'm pulling tight enough so that I know that in between each one of those pearls, that knot, there's not any wiggle room. I don't like that. It really frustrates me when I've got a whole strand that's nice and neat, and then all of a sudden I make a knot and it's not right up next to the pearl, and it's where I didn't pull quite tight enough, so that one pearl wiggles back and forth just a little bit. It drives me crazy, so I start completely over. The way to avoid that, and watch me do it on the next bead, of course, but the way to avoid that is just to make sure that you're pulling. Once you get that thread into the yoke that you're pulling, you know, you're giving a nice bit of tension there, okay? Next bead, lasso around your fingers, drop the beads down, tool, hook, pull. Okay. It's at this point when I really kind of tug on it, right? That's just going to ensure that there's no wiggle room between the bead and the knot. I'm going to put a couple more of these down, and then we're going to measure again, because remember, our knots take up space. So we want to be sure that we're not getting too long here, because we still have those 3 beads to finish off. Okay, lasso around, drop, hook the tool, pull, and push up. All right, let's bring our ruler in and double check, because we may need to take some pearls off. Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't, you know, you don't know till you look. Nope, we're good. Okay. Bring another pearl in. Jane's here. Hi, Jane. All right, looping around my fingers, dropping all of it down into the loop. Hook, finger, whoops, pull. Okay, put that cord right into the knot. Somebody got grumpy. Don't be grumpy. Don't be grumpy. No grumpy faces here, guys. Come on. Will tightening on the yoke weaken the silk? No. In fact, you guys, this silk is a lot stronger than what you may think that it is. I mean, you can really, really pull on this stuff. It takes a lot to weaken this, and the weakening, it'll start to fray. So you'll know. I don't think that, I mean, unless you're just like seriously eating your Wheaties and like, you know, downing spinach like nobody's business, I don't think you are going to be able to pull hard enough on the tool to weaken this or to make it fray. I think the tool would actually break before that happened. Okay. But now I don't know. You might be like, I could be talking to Wonder Woman right now and I don't even know it. So from my experience, it hasn't. I haven't ever had that problem, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible. All right. Dropping the pearls down, hook, pull. Okay. Putting it in the yoke. And I'm pulling hard just to pull to give it even tension, but I mean, I'm not like going crazy pulling. Okay. All right, let's double check one more time on the length here, because I do have those last 3 pearls and it looks like I might be 1 bead too many. So I'm going to take one of these pearls off. Okay. All right, so I've got 1 more pearl to knot, and then we're going to finish with the last 3, okay? All right, so I pulled the last one down, looping around my fingers, drop all of the pearls into the loop, okay? Hook with the tool and pull. Okay, into the yoke. Yoke, not yolk, it's not an egg, and push. All right, so we're almost done, right? We've got our clasp attached. We've got the length ready. Now we need to finish, and we're going to finish with the 3 pearls. Remember our first 6, we're going to finish with the 3 pearls from the 6. These are the ones that were reamed extra so that I know that I can get my thread through them twice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to thread all 3 of these on. Okay, and now I'm going to pull those down next to the pearls that are already here, but I am going to leave a little bit of wiggle room because I've got to be able to get in between there to make knots. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other side of my clasp here. I'm going to thread on the wire guardian. Okay. Okay. Before I pull that all the way down, I'm going to hook that to my clasp. Okay. Now I'm going to pull everything down close to these pearls that I just thread on. This is a little tricky to hold on to. I'll pull all of this down. Yeah, definitely catch the replay, Leanne, if you are interested in seeing how this bracelet got started. The technique is really, really important. Okay, now I've pulled everything down pretty close, but not right up against, okay? I've got a little bit of wiggle room here. I gotta have that wiggle room for making my overhanded knots in there, okay? You don't want a ton, okay? You just want to see a little bit of daylight when you can separate out your pearls so that you know that you've got enough room in there to make a knot. Okay. All right. So the same thing. We're basically doing this. We're basically starting or finishing the same way we started. We're just working in a smaller area up against our finished strand. Okay. So we want to take our needle and we want to go back through that pearl that is sitting right next to our wire guardian. And it's a small space, okay? You may need your tweezers, you may need your pliers, whatever is going to help you, because that needle needs to come out between those two pearls, okay? Pull that needle, pull all of your cord. Oh, and it's a tight squeeze. And you can hear it zip, okay? Hold out your, pull out your thread. So you don't get big knots. Okay. Pull all of that down. Now everything is kind of twisted here. I want to get my clasp back onto the wire guardian. It's kind of, see how it snuck off and onto the silk cord. I want to wiggle that guy back where he goes. Okay, pull that cord. And then I do kind of pinch the two ends of my wire guardian together a little bit, right? Okay, now we're coming out between the last and second to last pearl. We're going to tie an overhanded knot between those. So you have to kind of loop around your fingers, okay? Loop around your fingers and go between those two pearls, okay? And then tie your knot out here. I call those air knots because they're out here away from the work. And then pull. It's just a half hitch knot, and you're just pulling that in, right? The next time, we're going to do the same thing, okay? We're going to go through, and it's a very tight squeeze. We're going next to that knot into the next pearl. It's not hard. It's just a tight squeeze. I am going to need my pliers to grab the end of that needle. Okay. Pull your cord. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to tie another overhanded knot. And you can see how that knot that's in there now, you would never know that that's just a half hitch knot. You would never know. Never know. All right, so another air knot, if you will, between these two. Okay, pull. Okay, and now we're going to go through this last purl. That was number 3. So we've knotted between these 2 and these 2. Now we're going to take the thread through purl number 3 and cut it off. Okay, and again, it's a really tight squeeze, not hard, just a little tricky to get in there. And at this point, your needle, you can see how mine's kind of kinking up on me. I'm just gonna trim that off because I'm right here at the end, so it's all right to trim your needle off if you need to. Whatever's gonna help you get in there. Okay, pushing that needle through. It's gonna come up right next to that knot that's already there, so you can see it. And pull. I'm just holding everything out so it doesn't get tangled if you're curious as to what on earth I'm doing with my fingers. Okay. Now I don't need a knot here because there already was a knot, right? That was the last knot that we actually made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my cutters and just trim that off. And we're almost done. We've got a complete knotted bracelet, okay? Perfectly seamless. However, I need a little extra insurance on those last 2 overhanded knots that we made. So again, the tiniest little drop of the Hypo Cement, don't get it on your pearls. If you do, just wipe it off. Okay. Just the tiniest little drop. And let that dry. Okay, and you're done. You have a beautiful, beautiful hand knotted bracelet. And guys, it's knotted all the way through. There's no extra hardware. I don't have to worry that I'm going to break a jump ring. I don't have to worry that my thread is going to come undone. If this breaks anywhere, I'm not going to lose my pearls. Right? It is start to finish. This is the traditional sense of making a knotted, whether it's a bracelet or whether it is a necklace. Now, I say traditional in the sense of how we started and finished, because obviously the knotter tool is not the traditional way to hand knot things. The traditional way to hand knot things is with, you know, tweezers and, you know, scissors, a little beading awl. It's a really slow process, but this tool takes all of the hard work out of it so that you can get the results of a beautiful, you know, traditional style, but it makes it so much easier. But as far as your start and your finish, you don't have the clamshell. The clamshell is great for like long necklaces. We're going to use the clamshell on Thursdays. But when it comes to like my expensive gemstones or pieces that I worry, particularly with bracelets where I worry that they're going to come up against things, sometimes those pearl or the clamshells can come undone. So this is definitely a strong piece of jewelry it's not going to come undone on you. So, and the results are gorgeous, right? Plus the fact that it has that drape that nothing else has. It just has such a luxurious feel because of that silk cord. So let's put it on and see what it looks like. It might be a little bit big for me, but I don't know. Maybe not. The challenge is actually getting it on. I'm like the worst at putting on my own jewelry, so I might not get this on. Maybe, maybe not. I need like, oh, pool boy. And I'm still calling for pool boy. He never comes, but one of these days when I say pool boy, oh my gosh, you guys, seriously. Oh, I got it. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. And the clasp makes it really beautiful as well. So there you go. Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn you guys around. Oh gosh, not without knocking things over first. Sorry, you got a quick view of the ceiling there. My apologies. Oh, back to the Marge Simpson hair. Just can't. I just can't. Sorry, dropping things all over the place. All right, so here's our bracelet. So, you talk about a great gift. Oh my gosh. And what timing, right? Because Valentine's Day is what? It's not this weekend because this weekend's the Super Bowl. Next weekend is Valentine's Day. If you've got, you know, your gal pal, somebody in your life that needs a little pick-me-up, right? This is going to be one of those things because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, how much did you spend on that? And you're going to be like, I made it. Right? Add a beautiful box clasp or whatever you want to it. And it just takes it to a whole nother level. So pretty. So pretty. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for asking for this one. I was very, very happy to oblige. So pretty. Yes, knotted pearls make the best wedding jewelry ever. Yeah, so definitely. On Thursday of this week, you guys, I am going, Terry says, anything in KC colors coming up? No, because on Thursday, we're going to be doing one last pearl project. Probably not the last pearl project that we ever do ever, but it is going to be the last in this kind of series of working with pearls and knotting. We're going to be doing a long necklace that is the tin cup style. So there'll be some pearls. Let me show you what I'm actually using. I'm going to be using some coin pearls. So I've got these little coin pearls that come in all of these little cutesy irregular shapes. Okay. I'm using those in conjunction with some Chinese crystals, which you can't really see together in my hand. Like, worst Vanna White ever. So they're kind of blue, right? We're going to use those. We're going to do a tin cup style necklace. It's going to be a long necklace that you can, you know, you can twist around if you want to. You know, you can, yeah, you know, you can wrap it around to make it short, or you can wear it long. That's what we're going to do on Thursday. So I'll be showing you guys how to do that. I'm going to show you with the little spacers that Beadalon makes, but I'm also going to show you how to do it with a straw, because you can do it with a straw as well. Joan says she made a list of questions for me on this project. So apparently as I was going along, I missed a lot of questions. I am so sorry if you asked questions and I missed them. It is, you know, sometimes I miss. I'm not trying to be rude, or I'm not ignoring you. And if you've got questions, I definitely want to answer them, because I want you to get this. I want you to get it. I want you to understand it, and I want you to enjoy it, because it's so cool to hand knot things. That being said, I always give you guys like a little tiny business tip at the not necessarily at the end, but I give you business tips when I can. And this one is one of those where being able to restring pearls for people, you can make a lot of money off of that. It's like restringing necklaces, just straight stringing. You can make money off of that. You can also re-knot pearls for people. So people who have like their grandmother's pearls and maybe the cord has broken, you can pay somebody to redo that for you. So if you get good at this, there is definitely a money-making part to it. So just so you know. Anne says, thank you. I think I can do this now. Yay! I'm so glad. I know you can. I know you can. You all can. Let's see. Could you do 2 beads on each side? So it's not so hard to finish. Can you do this as a wrap bracelet? What size did you make as far as a bracelet? As far as the size of the bracelet is concerned, this was a 7.5-inch bracelet. And can you use 2 pearls at the end instead of 3? You can, but that means you're only going to have 1 knot for your security. So those knots at the end and the knots at the beginning that you create, yeah, this is a 7.5. It's just a little over 7.5 inches for this bracelet. The knots at the beginning and the end between those 3 pearls, so the 6 that we needed to ream ahead of time, those 2 knots are really what's holding your piece together. That's why I give them a little of the Hypo Cement, just to give them some extra insurance. I wouldn't trust my bracelet with just 1 knot. So I definitely think you need 3 beads at the end and 3 beads at the beginning. That's the way that I learned how to do it. So what's a 10 cup necklace? So the 10 cup necklace is where you've got beads and then you've got a space, an open space of your silk thread. Beads, an open space of your silk thread. So it's kind of like an illusion style design, except that you get to see that beautiful silk cord in between there. I am on YouTube. Oh, thank you. Karen says she loved watching my video on the beadboard. Thank you. Packers fans here too. That's okay. And Steelers. That's all right, guys. All football is good football. I do not discriminate, but I do have a special place in my heart for fellow Chiefs fans. But I do not share my Patrick Mahomes. Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, just before we go, so you guys, some of you posted this on the group, the Facebook group, and I have to show you. I got this just in time for I got this just in time for the Super Bowl. Hold on. It's backwards. You guys can't read it. It says, help keep Patrick Mahomes safe. Wear a mask. Just in time for the Super Bowl. So on my way to the post office today, I am helping Patrick Mahomes stay safe by wearing my mask. So yeah. What size wire guardians? So wire guardians come in 2 different sizes. I don't know the exact sizes, just like right off the top of my head. They do come in 2 sizes. The ones that I used were the small ones, and they worked perfectly with the number 6. You'll have to look on the Beadalon website for the 2 different sizes that they come in. The next size up is going to work for your 8. So I barely got that one through, the small wire guardian. So the next step up, if you're going to go up on your silk cord, you're definitely going to need the bigger size. Let's see. I love that. Yay. All right, so that is it. If Joan's got more questions for me that I missed, she will she will let me know. Angela says, totally off topic, what kind of computer chair do you have? Well, I don't remember the name of it. It doesn't vibrate or anything. I looked at some that do. I'll post a link for you. Is that okay? I got it off Amazon. I'll post the link for you so you can look at it. I don't know if they still have them or not, but it's the most comfortable out of all of the chairs that I use. I've been through a bunch of them and I have really bad back problems. So this chair has done wonders. Where to get the clasp? So as far as the clasp is concerned, it's called Upper Clasp, which is just a category, a little collection of clasps that Beadalon carries. So that's where I got mine. Sometimes I see upper clasps in the box stores, but I know for sure you can get them on the Beadalon website. What size pearls? Mine were 8mm to 9mm potato pearls, just a regular kind of shape, but they were drilled not long ways, but side to side. I'm glad you think I'm fun. I try, and see, you guys, my mood is completely lifted. When I came here, I was like, that's my mood for the day, right? I was just like, so blah. You guys, thanks. Thank you for cheering me up and lifting me up. I hope I cheered you up and lifted you up as well. All right, that's it for me today, you guys. I got a lot of stuff I've got to take care of this afternoon to get ready for some more things for you guys. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Well, actually, I'll see you on Wednesday at 4 p.m. over on the Jewel Loom group if you want to come and loom with us. But I will be here Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time with that 10 cup style pearl knotting necklace. And then on Friday for Feel Good Friday. I don't know what Feel Good Friday is going to be yet, but it's always something fun and easy that is, you know, you guys love it. You guys like all of the Feel Good Friday. So looking forward to that. Have a great rest of the day, you guys. I will see you guys again soon. Bye, guys.